fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the DX Guts Hyperkey Premium Ultraman Trigger Key Set from Ultraman Trigger. So this was a premium Bandai release, and essentially this is a kind of memorial set of the Guts Hyperkeys for Ultraman Trigger, but there is one little new surprise inside. Spin around to the back, not really anything going on here, just the warnings and whatnot. And on front we just have kind of a nice picture of Trigger in multi-type form. So we'll go ahead and slide this cover off. So you can see we do get 5 keys in this set. These 4 are memorial editions of keys we already have, but we do get the all-new Trigger Truth key, which is very exciting. Bandai likes to do this, and we're kind of seeing it with Revice now, where they'll put out memorial editions of the older ones you already have, but then pack in something brand new as a way to entice you to buy it. Again, we're seeing it with the Revice stamps right now. But you do get, and I don't know why these are backwards, but this is how they came in the packaging. I think maybe they just wanted to put multi-type in the middle since that was his most prominent form. But you get multi-type, you get power type, and sky type. And then over here we have the Glitter Trigger Eternity key, and then again our brand new Trigger Truth. So these are all memorial editions, and what that means is basically they have the original Hyperkey mode. They have what I call like a henshin mode, where it's essentially the same things, but there's either music playing in the background, or maybe you hear the character like chant something before the transformation jingle starts, so it's kind of more like show accurate. There's also the typical sound mode, and then there's also just like a phrase mode, where it's just a ton of different phrases for the characters from the show. So lots of stuff to cover, lots going on here, but I always like this packaging. They kind of started this early on with these, where you get kind of like a nice little box window. So if you wanted to just display it like this, you absolutely could, and I really appreciate that. So I think that's really nice. But let's go ahead, let's get the keys out of there so we can start playing with the sounds. Alright, so up first we have Ultraman Trigger Multi-Type, and honestly, aesthetically, it doesn't really look any different than the key you probably already have, but of course there's a ton more functionality packed in here. We have our 2 little buttons up top here, we have our button on the side, speaker here on the front. This is where you would replace the batteries should you ever need to, and of course the rail system.
Ultraman Trigger Multi-Type. Ultraman Trigger Multi-Type.
So this is the normal Hyperkey mode, and of course it's only going to say that one thing, so if we hold this down, so now we're kind of in that like henshin mode.
Ultraman Trigger Multi-Type.
And if we load this into the Guts sparklence, it's basically going to go through the same transformation, but it'll have kind of phrases and sound effects to accompany it like on the show.
Sound mode.
Alright, so now we're in sound mode. Now this next one I believe is going to be background music, so I'll probably start it and have to stop it pretty quick. So each one of these has some kind of song in it that'll actually play for a decent amount of time. Because of copyright, I can't play it here.
Superior Sword Finish.
And then we got the color timer. So that's it for the sound mode. So now we're in kind of the phrase mode. All right, I think that's all the way back around. So if we hold it down again,
Hyper key mode.
we're back to hyper key mode, which is going to give us the 1 or 2 sounds. So that's pretty much it for everything on its own. I'm going to go through all the keys, and then I'll bring in the Guts Spark Lens at the end for all of that. Up next, we have Ultraman Trigger Power Type. So we start off in the hyper key mode.
Ultraman Trigger Power Type.
So now we're in that Henshin mode.
Ultraman Trigger Power Type. Ground mode. Ultraman Trigger Power Type.
All right, so next should be the background music.
Erytheum Claw Impact.
All right, so that's it for sound mode. We'll go into the phrase mode.
パワーにはパワーで対抗しろ。あ、きっと。ありがとう。うざい。希望の未来はすごく遠くにあるのかもしれない。でも立ち止まってたら絶対にたどり着けない。同じ一歩なら苦しいより楽しい方がいいでしょ。だからスマイルスマイル。おいケンゴ、お前何やってんだ。あの時俺に言った言葉は嘘だったのか。世界中のみんなを笑顔にしたいんじゃなかったのか。何が夢見る未来だ。俺はそんなうざい言葉を信じてウルトラマンになることを諦めた。お前に託したんだケンゴ。パワーにはパワーで対抗しろ。
All right, so we're back around again, and then if we hold this down,
Hyper key mode.
we're back to hyper key mode. Next up, we have Sky Type.
Ultraman Trigger Sky Type. Ultraman Trigger Sky Type. Ground mode.
天空をかける高速の光。ウルトラマントリガー。
All right, and then this next one should be the background music.
Runball Arrow Strike.
And now on to the phrase mode.
本当のスピードを見せてやれ。ありがとう。お願い戻ってきてケンゴ。ただいま。あなたがトリガーだったんだね。ごめんね。ずっと幸せで嫌われてあげられなくて。ヒナ、ありがとう。僕 神ウルトラマンであり、母さんが育ててくれた人間、真中健吾なんだ。私、怖い。死ぬのが。でも、やっぱり守りたい。みんなの笑顔を。お父様は私に話してくれた。人は誰でも光になれるって。本当のスピードを見せてやれ。
Hyper Key Mode.
Next up, we have Glitter Trigger Eternity.
Glitter Trigger Eternity. Glitter Trigger Eternity. Sound Mode.
宇宙を照らす超広大な光。ウルトラマントリガー。
Glitter Trigger Eternity.
So this next one will be the background music. I gotta be honest, most of the background musics have sounded very similar to me so far.
Eternity Spirit.
Alright, and last but certainly not least, we have our all-new Trigger Truth Key, which you can see is pretty much just using the same mold as the Glitter Trigger Eternity, but of course now we have some really nice translucent sparkly yellow plastic here, and then there's been some remolding up here and down here for the speaker. You have Trigger and Trigger Dark there. Kind of a cool yin-yang symbol going on there.
Trigger Truth. Trigger Truth. Ground Mode.
ウルトラマントリガー。
Trigger Truth.
Alright, I know you're going to know this next song. It's So I can't play too much of it, but it does play the opening theme to Trigger, which is pretty cool.
Trigger truth. Boot up. Blue Superior.
これだよウルトラマントリガ逃走するコアを沈められるのはエタニティコアに直接触れた僕だけなんだ。心配しないでください。エタニティコアを沈めてまた戻ってきます。うざい。嫌だ。嫌だ嫌だ。誰が笑顔で見送ってやるか。笑顔になってほしいなら一日でも早く帰ってこい。じゃあ行ってくる。
Hyper key mode.
So now we're back around to the beginning. So that's pretty cool. A lot of good sounds in there. I love that it plays the Trigger theme song. Can't play it for you here, unfortunately, but I love that song. Still one of my favorite Ultraman themes. So very cool. Let's go ahead. Let's bring in the Guts Spark Lens, and let's get to some henshin sounds. Okay, so basically how this works, you can either transform with the normal Hyper Key mode, or you can transform with the henshin mode. And there's a ton of phrases after transformation that I want to get through, but if I do it in the henshin mode, it's going to be playing background music while it does all of these phrases and sound effects. And I don't know if I can have the music playing for that long, so I'm going to transform with the normal henshin mode first, go through all those sound effects and phrases, and then we'll go back and try the henshin mode, at least for the transformation, and then I'll probably have to cut it off so the music doesn't play for too long. So let's go ahead and pop in the key.
Ultraman Trigger. Multi-type. Superior.
Alright, so I believe that's everything for the special sound effects and phrases, so we'll go ahead and try the Henshin mode now.
Superior.
So you can hear what I mean when I say that it's going to keep playing that background music, and if I keep hitting the trigger, it's going to just go through all those sound effects and phrases again with that background music playing in the background, which is a really cool feature. I just can't have the music playing on the video for that long. But if you hold the trigger down, it will cancel all that out and turn it off. Alright, up next, power type.
Ultraman Trigger. Power type. Derisium. Vocal arms. Power claw. Derisium. Claw impact. Derisium.
Next up, sky type.
Ultraman Trigger. Sky type. Runbolt.
Up next, Glitter Trigger Eternity.
Glitter Trigger Eternity. Glitter Superior. Glitter Blade. Eternity Spirit. Glitter Trigger Eternity. Glitter Superior.
All right, and time for Trigger Truth.
Trigger Truth. True Superior.
So that's cool. It actually launches right into the theme song, and then you can do the other sound effects over top of that, which I think is a lot of fun. So I think this is a pretty fun set. I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of Bandai's practice of taking the new gimmick item and locking it into a set with a bunch of gimmick items you probably already have, but at least these have all been updated. These are the Memorial Editions, so there's a ton of functionality packed into these. Each key has the 4 modes. You have the normal hyper key mode, you have the henshin mode, you have sound mode, and then kind of what I just call like the character phrase mode. So there's all the character phrases, there's tons of, henshin phrases, sound effects, attack sounds, all that stuff built right in, which I think is really fun. I love the fact that when you go ahead and transform, it kind of goes right into that background music, and then you can play all the attack sounds and everything for kind of a more realistic experience, I guess I'll say, for lack of a better term. But I think that's really fun. The one thing I did notice that I thought was a little weird, every time when you transform, I thought the originals used to say the name of the form when you were done, kind of like he does on the show when he's growing larger, but I didn't really notice that here, so I went back and tried a couple times, and I'm not crazy. When we transform, like, he says his little phrase at the beginning and shouts Ultraman Trigger, but then it doesn't, like, say the name of the form after the transformation. It just kind of goes right into the attack sounds, and if you're in the henshin mode, it goes right into that background music. But I love the background music. I think they're all pretty great. I love the fact that the Trigger Truth key goes right into the theme song. I love that. I love when that always, like, swells on the show and then they start fighting to the theme song. I always think that's really fun. Also, you get this nice little display box. I like what they've been doing with the keys here, where they put them in this nice little window box, so you can just plop this right on your shelf, and I think it looks fantastic. Yeah, it's a fun set. Like I said, it is the only way to get the Trigger Truth key, and they know that, so that's what they're banking on, and it worked on me, as it usually does. But yeah, I think it's a nice set. I mean, it's out now, so I guess if you're looking for this one, since it was a premium Bandai release, probably like Yahoo Japan auctions, Mandarake, I think you could probably get it for a decent price, hopefully anyway, in the aftermarket. So let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.